nightmare. And obviously, I mean, thank God I finished the bass tracks to our new album. We're recording our new album as we, and it was supposed to be finished like the end of May. So we finished the drums, the bass, the rhythm guitars. So it's just the lead guitar and the vocals that have got to go down now. So at least I've done my part. It's not hanging over my head.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're going back in the studio, so you got to, it's always on the back of your mind. So I'm glad I've done that, and it's up to them to finish it, and then hopefully it'll be out end of the year, probably. I'd say no later than that, earlier than that.
I mean, I saw earlier that it had been put on hold, if you like, because of what's going on. So, and as well as the tour.
Yeah, I mean, that's because Steve Grimmett is doing our what's his name, the mixing. He lost his leg in South America.
Yeah,
he's diabetic, so he's got to be totally isolated. You know what I mean? So he's saying when he's ready and when he gets it all clear, he'll start going back to the studio, which is in Oxford, and finish it off. And then we can get it out. And in some ways, it'll be cool because we're supposed to tour extensively this year, so next year we can work on that album. There's no hurry because we were hurrying this to get it out for the tour date, which was starting in next month. I think was our first date. So in some ways it's cool because it's going to now just not be rushed in a lot of ways, because we don't want to go on tour before it was released. So we can, and then next year, even with this, until they find a vaccine, I can't see people going to gigs because you can't control it, can you? So I can't see the gigging part of the whole music industry kicking off until the end,
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with anything, football or anything like that. You can't risk people coming back.
No.
Because it only takes one.
Yeah, and you can't control the distancing in those situations, isn't it? You can't, especially gigs, you can't make people stand 2 meters apart. They're not going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? If they're just going to stand there and just watch,
Yeah.
But maybe it might, when it all, hopefully we can get back to normal, people might start going out and realizing that, okay, they haven't been out because I don't go and see bands unless it's big bands. We can tour. Even Steve Grimmett of Grim Reaper, he had a big American tour organised for June, July and August. 7 weeks he was over there going on his own with American musicians, and that was going to be a profitable tour for him, which is a shame because it's obviously going to be cancelled as far as I can see. But he's saying he's happy. But he said next year, I shouldn't really say this, but he wants to go on tour in the UK next year, but he's saying that if he went on his own, he wouldn't be able to pull enough people to generate the money to cover the tour. He needs to tour with 2 other bands and make it like a 3-4 band festival tour, if you see what I mean. So he wants us and Tyson Dog. He mentioned that he wanted to come on tour with us, and he wants to come. He wants us to come on tour with him. On this UK tour, so that'll be great because we'll be playing to bigger audiences. And what I'm getting at is, if we do this tour and we do, Trillions and that's cool. The Cat House will probably be cool, but these smaller venues, the one in Norwich, the one in Wolverhampton, the Green Room or whatever it is, there's no one comes to these venues. You might get 20-40 people there. You know what I mean? We can't generate hundreds and hundreds of people unless we play a festival. Like the New Cross Inn Festival, Tigers of Peng Tang, Praying Mantis, Girls, Rock Goddess. If we tour with those bands, then we bring people in. But if we go out on our own, we don't bring people in. Unless you're in London or a bigger city, you've got a bigger chance. But people generally don't go to gigs. And we'd be playing upstairs in the venue, and there's at least a couple of times 100 people downstairs. They're not coming up to listen to the music because they can hear it from where they're standing, so they're not going to pay a £5 or a tenner. And these are musicians who've got denim jackets on with the badges, the patches. They're proper metalheads.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be coming up there forking out money because they can hear you downstairs, and it's just demoralising when you're doing these little gigs around the country.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what I
even,
mean?
you mentioned New Cross Inn. Even the New Cross Inn's a bit like that. You got the bar downstairs. Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
last gig I went to at New Cross Inn was a punk gig.
Oh, okay.
I was upstairs for that because I wanted to see it, but to be honest, the smell was enough to send me back downstairs from the punks.
It's horrible, isn't it? That,
Yeah,
you know, I stayed in the fucking hostel above that place, right?
I know.
After I gig, I stayed with my whole family, man. My son and my wife and everything were with me. And it was pretty grim, innit? But it was only a 50 quid for the night for five of us, you know what I mean? So, but it was pretty grim. But we had an absolutely awesome gig. We went on before Rock Goddess and Grim Reaper, and we went up there and we absolutely kicked ass, man, big time. I mean, it was just the atmosphere changed almost when we went up there. Suddenly, it just almost went up a gear. You know what I mean? And we got an encore, and you never get encores at festivals because it's such a tight slot. There was 12 bands or something, 45
Yeah,
minutes, 45. So as we finished, I pulled all my equipment, started yanking all my equipment out so that, it gives the other guys a chance to get the roadie up there. He can haul everything off. So I pulled all the cabling out. And I'm here, the people are going crazy, man. They're going mad more. I'm thinking, you're having a laugh, mate. We're not getting any, we're not coming back on. Next minute, all the dudes start fucking piling back on stage, right? And they say, "Cole's doing another one." Fuck, I got to plug the shit back in. So I said, well, start the song because it was a long intro before my bass comes in. So I plugged everything in, hit the power, no power. And then there's probably 10, 15 seconds before I'm supposed to come in. You know what I mean? Now, why is there no power, man? It was working a minute ago. You know what I mean? Luckily, the roadie came over and sorted it out. And I started in time.
yeah,
But it was just awesome. And that was a very well attended gig because people come from Europe and everything, because there was all the bands like that want to see Tyson Dog and Toledo Steel and us and Rock Goddess and Grim Reaper. So those festivals work in a sense. And then we had an interview downstairs in the in the pit. And apparently I was just, oh God, I was a bit of a nightmare apparently. But I was so hyped up after the gig, and then I was straight on everything. So I got down there late. So yeah, so it was I don't know who it was with, but I haven't listened to it yet. But anyway, it brings fond memories, that the downstairs
yeah,
the downstairs God, bar. Yeah, there was
yeah,
fortunately it was a woman interviewer, with six blokes hanging all stuck in a bar, one of those bar little things, those little
yeah,
alcohols, and that. So she was sort of trapped in there I think she felt quite threatened. Really, we were only messing around, though, nothing
yeah.
serious. You know what I mean? But it was great. That was a great gig, and the other ones like the O2 in Sheffield and in Islington, and they're all great, man. They're worth doing those gigs. So in a way, I think, we're going to do all these gigs this year, so we're going to redo them again next year. But hopefully, what I'm getting at is people will now say, right, we haven't been out for like fucking 2, 5, 3 months. There's a band going down the road. Let's go and check them out.
Yeah.
Rather than always just say, no, 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 we'll just, you know what I mean? The mindset hopefully will change, and people might start going to local venues where they live, and we get, 2% of the population in that area coming to our gigs.
Mm. Yeah, it'd be good. But if we could talk a little bit about the album Burning Black, which, like you say, obviously can't be completed right now because of Steve Grimmett and pandemic and everything else. Um, how do you compare the material on this one to King?
Yeah, I think we were hoping that when Chris Tangarides did King, we
Right.
were hoping that he was going to do our next album because he did such a great job on the production and the engineering. He was. We didn't realize that it was going to be that good when we were sitting there with him, because we'd never worked with someone who worked in that professional capacity. We almost seemed to just be doing it in between, talking about all the stories of Saxon and Gary Moore and all of his life. And we were well up for that,
Yeah.
but we were thinking, shit, man, you know what I mean? We need to, we recording, we want to record from 9 till 5, you know what I mean? Nine
Yeah.
till 6 or 7. So we did the stuff, and when we were there, we didn't realize what was going to happen. But Chris could see the picture at the end of the song, at the end of the album, because he had said, no, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put this drum roll in Doomsday. There's a continuous rolling of drums around the background. He did all these effects, and he was thinking about this all the way through the recording. And then when we came to hear the album, which only took about 2 weeks to record, I would say 2.5 weeks, it was just blew our head off, because it was just completely something we didn't expect to have, that production quality and the amount of input that he put into the songs. So they sounded much better, really, once he had put his input in and changed a few things. And so we've gone in now with Steve Grimmett, because we signed to Dissonance, so their studios at Dissonance Productions. So we're using their facilities. Steve's moved to their studio now, taking all his equipment there. And he was being taught by Chris Tangarides when, over the last few months before he passed away. So Chris showed him a few tricks, and I think to compare the King to the Burning Black, I think the Burning Black will be a very good album. The songs are excellent, as usual, from Keith and Rob. They always write good songs. They're quite different to the songs on King, but they still have the same format, I would say, because I'm playing the bass. It's a sort of a lot of the same chords, you know what I mean, but structured differently. And I think the album's got a lot more edge to it. It's a lot edgier. So we're talking about more like, I wouldn't say Motorhead almost, but it's got a lot more edge and more drive. The songs are shorter as well. There's not so many long songs in it. But I think Steve's going to bring a much rougher edge to the recording. I think it's going to be a lot more, sort of metally almost. It's going to have a little bit more fucking grind behind it than the soft, smooth British 80s Saxony Judas Priest sort of production, you know. So I think because I'm playing the bass and I play with my fingers, man. And Chris Tangarides said, "Hang on, I'm going to put a dampener under the bass strings, between the strings and the body, put a bit of foam. So when I'm hitting the strings, it's a uniform wavelength that's coming into the desk, and that will allow me to mix the song better." So I'm hackering away with a heavy song with Steve. And I said to Steve, look, I can hear all the clacketing and tracketing on the fretboard, you know what I mean? Because I'm hitting it quite hard, you know, I'm going to give some drive. He said, that's cool. He doesn't want to know about a dampener. We're not using dampeners, you know what I mean? He wants it to give it. So I think the difference will be the mix, and the engineering will have a little bit of more of an edge to it. Whereas King and Chris Tangarides produced an absolutely gem of an album with a production and everything you can hear perfectly, and the songs are great, but we still didn't get the response that we expected to get by supporting Black Sabbath or supporting, you know what I mean? When that album comes out, you think, shit, man, this is the bollocks, isn't it? This is going to be, once we get onto this is going to be awesome, you know? So I think it'll be, the songs are good. There's like, when I first heard them, I think his initial reaction was, yeah, I can't really get my head around this stuff, guys. It's just, it seems all over the place. I think that's what he said, you know what I mean? Oh shit, man, what am I doing now? He said I can't get my head around it. So he went home and we recorded it in the studio, and he went home and he listened to it, and then he came back to the studio 2 weeks later to rehearsals, and he said, yeah, no, they work, they work, they're cool, man. Yeah, once you got the vocals down, and so it just seems the songs don't seem to be sort of the standard riffs of a new wave British heavy metal band, or of King. They're quite a little bit something different, and they're written by Rob and Keith. Rob's written quite a few more of the heavier riffs, and there's 10 songs on the album, and yeah, they're all pretty heavy. There's one ballad at the very end, but all the other songs are pretty fast. One sounds to me a bit like the Cult, the Cult. The other one's a bit like who did I say it was? God, who was that? What was the one? Yeah, it's definitely the Cult. And I thought the Stranglers even. I thought one of
Oh,
the songs sounded a bit like the Stranglers. You know what I mean? Because it's just got some very strange guitar bass parts, and so this album, Keith's written this album and Rob over quite a long period of time. I think they started writing this song when we were doing King, almost, or getting the riffs together and just writing riffs and starting working on some of the stuff. So we so the songs have been in the making for quite a long time. That, you know, they didn't just
yeah.
write them over the last few months. We were practicing them for a good year, I would say, or maybe a bit less than that. And there's quite a few. There's a couple of songs in drop D tuning, so you get the heavier guitar. And yeah, I just think that the Burning Black is going to be a great album, great songs, but it probably please the heavier guys in Europe and stuff, or the guys who like a bit more heavier, Motorhead or Accept or Anvil, or I don't know, that sort of edgy, more edgy stuff. You know what I mean? It's not so sort of comfy and cushioned in
Yeah.
all this production, basically. You know? So the album covers, well, we toiled with that for a long time. Eventually we came up with the skull as it is now. So we also going to be 40 years down the line next year, Desolation Angels, with Rob and Keith obviously
Yeah.
founding the band. So I think we hopefully Steve Beattie from Dissonance will allow us to do a special edition album, and we're going to re-record some of the classic tracks like Valhalla, Evil Possessor,
Yeah.
Fury, Spirit of the Deep, that other song, Dance of the Demons. That's just awesome, you know what I mean? Jesus, I mean, that song, to play that live is an awesome song. So hopefully they'll put together next year a 40th anniversary album, best of album, and we can do a couple of the old favorites on next year at Steve's studio. It won't take long for us to do it. I reckon we'll do it in a week, the recording,
Yeah.
because we know the song so well.
That's so
And then it's just the mixing, and then Steve getting the production, all the artwork done. So for us, I think for this year, everyone's on a reset button, man. Reset button. You know, we all got lives and families and jobs, and we're trying to do this professionally. We want to do this professionally. We want to go on the road and tour and do it. But speaking to Steve Grimmett, you know, unless you're one guy, it's very difficult to support 5 plus a roadie and a manager on the road full time. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So we amp because we're in the situation where we've got work. Our kids are all grown up. Whoever's got kids. Rob hasn't. Rob's kids grown up. Keith hasn't. Paul's has grown up. Chris hasn't. I've got 2 that are grown up. So after 8 years of playing together, we've now formed a very solid unit, and we're ready to carry on. And after this reset, we can look at touring next year. We've been offered some very good festivals this year. We were supposed to be on Hawkfest, which is a Hawken festival in Axminster. It's obviously going to be cancelled. So we've got this festival in France. So we're starting to get the bigger festivals now that we signed up to Dissonance, who can put us on their label, on their Tigers of Pangtang and Grim Reaper and stuff like they did at New Cross. So I think for us, it's going to be great, because this year we can just take a little bit of time out, because it's been very stressful, all the gigging and the rehearsing. I live in Southampton, the guys live in London, the one guy lives in Ewell, Heath at Gatwick. We all rehearse in Hereford. So, we're travelling to Hereford on a Saturday, coming back on a Sunday, because we rehearse Saturday and Sunday there. It's so far to go, but we have a great time. We stay there the night, we get pissed and have a party. So it's been quite stressful the last year, and quite a lot of expenses going out.
Yeah, cool.
So now we can just say, right, we can't do anything. Let's just concentrate on our playing. So I've just been playing a lot, trying to write songs, but I don't think I'm going to get. Nothing will be accepted for the next album, I'm sure of that. They just look at me a bit strangely, you know what I mean? What? You're having a laugh. So, in a lot of ways, I think, let's just, next year is going to be quite as soon as we can start doing live venues, I think things will really hopefully pick up. This album's going to come out, it's going to be a great album. Dissonance will push it, they'll advertise it, they'll get it out there, people must know. Because we were very disappointed, I would say, not disappointed, but when we heard King, we thought, right, man, this has got to get on Planet Rock. You know what I mean? We've got to get this out there. And it nearly got there, but someone just didn't push the button for us. You know what I mean? But, you know, we weren't signed. I mean, what happened was we did King and 5 tracks, sent it out to every record company in the country.
Yeah.
They came back, coupled with the contract. I mean, no, we're not 1920 anymore, man. You know, you can't give us this.
Yeah.
You know what? You're not giving us anything. You're taking everything, all the rights, all the song rights, everything. No money, nothing. So we said, no, fuck you. We'll go record it ourselves. Spent 9 grand on it, 10 grand on it, and pushed it out. 2,000 copies of the blue cover, independent release. Suddenly, Dissonance phone us and say, okay, hang on, guys, hang on a minute. Let's talk about this, okay? We want to sign you up. We want to re-release this in a red cover. You can't press any more blue covers, and you can't press any more recordings. We'll give you, I don't even know what the contract was, because Keith and Rob and our manager went to the meeting. I wasn't asked to go. So they signed the contract, but it's their songs, it's their writing. They must be happy. So they said, well, this is the best deal we're going to get. So they signed the contract. So then they pushed King a bit, and we sold quite a few thousand copies. You know, absolutely, you know, and we sold a few. But we felt that now that we were with Dissonance, they would get us out there. We start playing, and we were doing better gigs than they're getting us gigs. But I think next year, Dissonance have been with us from the beginning, from this album, from the beginning. They will hopefully put their weight behind it and start getting us a bit higher profile, because we need to play festivals. That's where our music goes down, is festivals, because we're a very tight band. We've got great songs. There's not this yiddly of lead for 10 minutes. The songs are structured. They've got rhythm behind them. You know what I mean? Sometimes a song doesn't even have a lead solo in it.
Yeah.
So it's quite a nice, and this Paul's voice, excellent voice. I mean, his voice is amazing. So when he sings live, he actually sounds great. So we're a great live band, tight. We all get on, and we've got a good show. We all wear, you know, a reasonable stage clothes and look okay. So I'm hoping now with this reset, we're all back off. We're going to be itching to get back on the road or playing live. And with Dissonance behind us, with this album, great album, we will start now getting these tours, playing like Rambling Man, or playing like one stage and the first people on it download. That sort of thing. We need to start getting a little bit up from where we are to keep the momentum going, you know. And then if that happens, Dissonance will allow us another record besides the anniversary one. They'll say, right, do a new album. So hopefully, you know, there's a few more years. We're all 60 now, really. I'm 58, but the average age is 60. So we haven't got a long time left. You know what I mean? As a rock band, you know what I mean? So I think next year, the album comes out, say February, March, just in time for spring, and then we'll tour the whole of May, June, July. Well, not the whole, but May, June, July, August. We'll tour every weekend. We'll be doing a gig somewhere or a festival somewhere.
Yeah.
But people come to our gigs and you know, seriously, they're blown away. I mean, and I'm a bit disappointed that we haven't actually been put up, just due to how the response is from the audience's gigs. You'd think there would be an A&R man standing there somewhere saying, no, these guys are shit hot, you know what I mean? They got a bit of attitude and they can play. I'm reading the Motley Crue book at the moment, The Dirt.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, just things, because they were playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. This guy saw these people jumping up and down outside trying to get in and punching each other to get a ticket. So he stopped, thought, I've got to check this out. Went in there, saw them, and signed them up. You know, because he could see the crowd outside were going mental.
Yeah.
He hadn't even seen the band, so he thought, hang on, there's something going on here. So when we play in Europe and that, we get such an awesome response, you know. So we just got to keep that momentum going with this new album that's going to have a bit more edge, great songs. It'll appease more of the European fans because they love their power metal and hard shit, don't they?
Yeah.
So, you know, we played the Magic Metal Festival in Norway and Ages of Metal. And so we've done a lot of the Malta Doom metal. We've done a lot of non-new wave British heavy metal sort of festivals, and we've gone down really well.
Yeah.
And it's very different to the music that most of the bands are playing, but they do have a varied slot. They do have varied bands on these festivals, not just power metal and black metal and stuff.
Mm.
But the likes of us and Tyson Dog and the Praying Mantis and stuff, yeah. I think we've done our time and we're going to be around a long time, isn't it? We're not doing it because we want to make millions and become rock stars anymore.
No.
That's, if it happens, fantastic. You know what I mean? I'll take it. Probably won't live very long because you got too much money, too much time, and you're always on tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you do after a show, man? It's just a downhill spiral unless you're seriously got some self-discipline and you're very healthy. So in this year, fortunately, I've got a garage. It's got a gym in it with all my kit and my bass equipment in it. So I've been making sure that I'm trying to keep fit, that I exercise every day, because if I do it for this year, when we come to tour next year, we'll all be fit enough and healthy enough to manage all that, because it's not easy. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully them getting a vaccine so people can go out and not have to worry about touching anyone else. That's the only way it'll happen. If there's a vaccine, everyone gets vaccinated, and then they can't catch it, basically. But you just don't know if that's going to happen,
Nah. And it is a shame as well that the album's been pushed back in terms of recording because Dissonance had just re-released While the Flame Still Burns as well. So it would have been great to have had that companion, the then and now kind of thing.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah, to say, from those days, they didn't remix it either. They just released it straight from the master. So yeah, that was that. There's all bad timing in the sense, this has never been good timing for anyone. But
No,
I think fortunately we went in there. Chris did a great job on the drums. In like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He'd done done the drums, but setting that up. That's getting there, setting it up. On Monday, had done all the drums, so we were a week ahead. Then I arrived on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The next week, I did all the bass over the 3 days, and then Keith started the rhythm, and then we went back again, and he finished the rhythm. And so fortunately it's just the lead guitar and the vocals to go now. So it stopped. But we were also concerned that we were going to have to rush it to get it out so that we could get it before we toured. So if it hadn't happened, we probably, and it wasn't released, we would have gone on tour in any case, and it would have been a couple of weeks into the tour that it would have been released. But in some ways, it's taken a bit of pressure off us as well to get this thing finished. Everyone else is on hold. It's not as though we've been left behind, or we're not. This is the situation. So I'm just glad that I've done my bass, because that would just be hanging over my head all the time, and I keep changing the bass lines all the time, because you hear it and then you hear it again. No, let me try this and let me try that, and actually. You normally then end up going back to what you did in the first place, because you're trying to overdo it and overcompensate and I thought with the King album, you've got 2 guitars in the band, so you've really got to be careful on the bass. I think it's got to be very straight and just keep the rhythm with the drums. That's your job, is keep that rhythm going. So I thought, right, on this album, I'm going to get some Billy Sheehan shit going, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to get some Billy Sheehan shit, and I'm going to be doing this shit, and I'm practicing at home, and I'm getting it. I've got these wicked runs, man. And then you play them, and no ways, it doesn't work, mate. So I went back to the old place and just kept it like I did originally, you know what I mean? Which is driving the bottom end with the drums, so the guitars can just do their thing over the top, And Steve, he's very cool to work with. Steve is a very, very cool dude, man. Really nice guy. He is a really cool dude. Easy to work with. Never had a problem. We were bitching and moaning and complaining, as we always do, because everyone has got an issue with going on the road, and you got holidays and leave, and you know what I mean. So it's not as though it was always fun and pleasant making games in there. Sometimes it was stressful, but he was so cool, man. He just did his job, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the end product. And I think the great thing is that I'm not going to hear anything now until the album's finished. I don't have to go back, and I'm not going to go sit there and watch them back and play and put my tuppence in there, and they'll just tell me to fuck off in any case. You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to go there. So the next time I hear the album is when I'll take it out the cover. You know what I mean? Stick it on the turntable, like everyone else, basically. because I won't be there for the mix or anything. There's no point. This is just Rob and Keith must do that. So
Yeah.
it'll be cool, but it's going to be great, man. And when that album comes out, I think everyone's going to be amped and ready to go. You know, so it'll be quite a good year once this is over next year. Once next year comes, it'll be wicked.
Yeah, like I say, hopefully everyone's going to be just what's the word? Just desperate for new music, basically.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Just amped to go out and be entertained, aren't they? Just go out and get and be entertained. You know, God. And I think you go out and I mean, I booked tickets because I mean, you know, I can bloody talk because I don't really go out to see local bands. You know what I mean? I live in Southampton and there's a Firehouse, there's the 66, there's the Engine Rooms, there's 4 or 5 really good venues down here. So Anvil are actually playing here in November. So I booked tickets to go and see them, you know what I mean? Because come on, man, I've known Anvil for years, you know what I mean? Brilliant. I watched the documentary. So I've booked tickets to see Anvil, whether or not it goes ahead, because they cancelled it from the original tour.
Well, yeah, I mean, I interviewed them in Swindon last month,
Oh,
which is
did
where I'm
you?
from,
Oh,
and it was funny. Well, not funny for them, but it was so weird that was the last day of the tour. They had to go back to Canada the next day.
shit, did they, eh?
Yeah, I was like,
Really?
what a place to finish the tour, Swindon, you know.
That's where Steve Grimmett lives, though, Swindon.
He lives in Swindon, does he?
Yeah, he's in
I didn't
Swindon.
know that.
Yeah, no, I thought he's in Oxford. No, he's in Swindon. Yeah, he's got my 1962 freaking Fender Precision at his house because I left all my kit at the studio.
Yeah.
Then thinking, and then so he said, no, we have to shut. So he took my guitar and Keith's guitar to his house. So he's sitting there, he's got my 62 Fender, man. Oh, fucking hell. But I've got another guitar here bass that I'm playing with. So, but it was just a shame that I left it there because I've never been apart from that bass for like 25 years. You know, I had it for 25 odd years. But he lives in Swindon. Yeah, he's in Swindon.
I wish you told me that. I wouldn't have gone to London to interview him then.
Oh, no worries, man.
That's
He's
all right,
down the
because
road,
Toledo
man.
Steel, Salem, UK were there as well. So I spoke
Oh, was
to them.
that at the were you at the Weekender, the classic Weekender?
Yeah, I
Was
think so.
that?
It was in the Boston Music Rooms, you know, in Kentish Town.
Oh, in Kentish Town. Oh, okay. No.
Well,
I'm talking. This one was in New Cross Inn, actually. This one.
yeah,
Boston. We've never played the Boston Music Room, as funnily enough.
it's a pretty cool venue, actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah, because Tokyo Blade and Tokyo Blade, because they've been signed to Dissonance now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because they're good friends with Rob, and Rob's quite good friends with the guitarist, I think, from Tokyo Blade.
yeah.
And then
Dissonance
Paul.
seems to really be bringing these bands and pushing them into the spotlight, if you will.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed actually with Steve because I think he sees this market, and I think he's right. There's this market for 80s vinyl bands and 80s stuff, isn't it? Like 80s, like Vardis and re-releasing these albums, and you know he's obviously making money out of this. And I'm just think, fuck that Steve's decided to sign all the heavy metal, British heavy metal new wave, in one under one umbrella, so he controls all of the, you know, the Tigers of Pang Tang, Diamond Head. He's got the bigger boys up there, and then there's loads of us, and he's just taken on Tokyo Blade.
Yeah.
So he seems to want to capture this new wave of British heavy metal bands, and it'll be a great thing for us. I think it's a great thing for us, you know.
Yeah, I
It
think
gives us, it gives us a bit more clout when we go out because he'll put us together with 3 or 4 bigger, you know, big bands, as in Praying Mantis or Rock Goddess or someone like that, isn't it? You know, so. It'll just push the profile for UK bands. Even with the touring going to Europe, I don't know what the story is because now we got to pay taxes and get visas and shit. So I can't see a lot of European bands coming here. So I think people are going to have to be happy with UK bands, at least for next year. If they want to see a band, they're going to have to go and see a UK band, you know, because we're only going to tour the UK, really, realistically.
Yeah.
And we will tour Europe, but it's not going to be. It'll be one tour a year probably.
Yeah.
Because of the cost of it, you know. But we have got this France festival in October, so hopefully that goes ahead. But I just think that Steve seems to have cottoned on to this idea. He's just people want to hear the old stuff. They want vinyl. They want jigsaw puzzles. They want this. Apparently, jigsaw puzzles have rocketed. Their sales of jigsaw puzzles because people are staying at home, especially the Iron Maiden ones. When I was there, they had pallets of these things going out, and the guy said to me, "Yeah, Iron Maiden, said Iron Maiden's jigsaws they're just selling like mad.
Yeah.
So he seems to he's quite clever, I think, Steve, and his marketing and how he does things. You know, he doesn't push bands. He's not a promoter.
No.
No, he doesn't go out, but I think he sorted out the Weekend Rocker. You'll phone a few people up and say, right, sort this out. You know what I mean? And I think they then sort it out. You know, but so
Yeah.
he's not promoting us. He just sells our merchandise and records our albums. But yeah, I'm just glad that we are where we are. The boys reformed. We've done 8 years together, so that's a hell of a long time for a band to be together. So,
Yeah.
um, I think Paul Taylor, such a great voice. Obviously, going back to what we're saying about dissonance,
Mm.
Elixir's big, man, in Europe. People know Elixir. So
Yeah.
Steve says, right, guys, I want you to fucking come in. I want you to record an album, do what you want to do. I'm going to do it. I'm signing you up.
Yeah.
Okay? And you can see the opportunity there. So it's not a problem for us because we're an established band. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Paul's playing with Elixir. They just released an album, which is I've ordered it, which is supposed to be really good. So again, he's seeing this opportunity there, even though he's with us. Paul Taylor's with Desolation Angels, signed to Dissonance. He's signed Elixir with Paul Taylor,
Yeah.
so he doesn't see any problems with people thinking, "Oh, hang on a second, no." People want to hear music, man. They want to hear Elixir. They want to hear Elixir stuff. You know, they did
Yeah.
that gig in London last month, and it went down really well. You know, for Clive Pearson, I think it was, wasn't it, the Iron Maiden drummer? And it went down really well. So the music industry is changing, as in, you know, people are doing what they've got to do, and they're getting out there to hear what the people want to hear, because that's the only way it's going to work, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really good model. It's a little bit like Nuclear Blast got some of the bigger thrash bands like Anthrax and a couple of others, and then they did so well with them that they were able to get in kind of lesser known thrash bands,
Yeah. Oh,
bring
yeah.
them up to the same level as well. So hopefully Dissonance will be doing that,
Yeah.
with the likes of Elixir and bringing Desolation Angels up to like Diamond Head levels and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not
That's where
impossible.
we need. No, no. We all personally feel, and I think it's with some confidence that we're a pretty good live band. You know,
Yeah.
we can deliver it. We deliver live. I mean, and I think that's the key. And if we if we can just keep delivering this live show and it sounds really good, and solid, and people come away feeling fucking hell, man, that was a good song, tuning them in their heads, singing a song in their heads, you know what I mean? That's what you like Valhalla and Evil Possessor, right down, you got that dang in there, dang there, you got that riff coming in your head. That's what you need to happen.
Yeah.
So I think we've got the material and the experience and the playability to put on a good show. And if we do get elevated, we'll be able to cope with it in a sense. You know what I mean? I did play I played in Cape Town for quite a few years. I'm actually from South Africa originally.
I thought
And
so.
yeah. So I've been over here a long time, since 1984. But I went back in 2004 with my two kids and my wife for 7 years just to take a break. My brother was there. We opened a business together.
Okay.
And we've formed a band called the Moshines, which has an American singer with it, a very good singer, very good frontman, guitarist, still going. And this was a very good fucking rock band, man. Shit hot guitarist, shit hot drummer. Black Rose, Carl Apple's riding from Black Rose, South Africa. He played with Belladonna here in the
Yeah.
80s. Did the marquee. They had a bit of a following, Belladonna. Did the marquee, and anyway, we played Greenpoint. We played the stadium. We played a stadium gig there. It was only because Carl was in the audio-visual conferencing facilities, so that he used to put stuff together for Metallica when they came. Like, he would do the stage shit, you know what I mean? And the guy phoned him and said, "Listen, man, we got a opening slot for this Greenpoint Stadium on Sunday. You want
Yeah.
to do it?" Yeah, Jesus, don't even ask, you know what I mean? We're there,
Yeah.
It was quite early, so people were still coming in. And I'm playing on stage, and we've never played a bigger stage than sort of the underworld, say that
Yeah.
sort of stage, something like that. And we went on the stage, and it's a stadium, so it's massive, the width of it, and it was so weird playing so isolated from everyone else.
Yeah.
But we pulled it off because we knew the song so well. So you know, initially it was very strange to have that sensation of being so isolated from everyone. Oh, you come up to the drums and then you walk away.
Mhm.
But I think that just taught me a little bit of a lesson. So, you know, if we're going to be going up on these higher and hopefully getting on the bigger stages, that we'll cope with it quite well. And you've got these in-ear monitors now as well, so you can hear everything perfectly clearly wherever you stand. Whereas in the old days, you walk over there, you can't hear the drums, and you walk over there, you can't hear the bass, and you can't hear the guitar, even though you've got foldback coming out the monitors in the front. But with it in the ears, it makes you much easier. You can hear everything wherever you stand. So I think between all of us, and we've all known each other. I've known Chris the drummer from when I first played in a band here. I came over in '84. We played in a band together.
Yeah.
So I've known Chris for 35 years. Rob's known Keith for 35 years. Paul's known all of us for on and off quite a long time through the music industry. So we're all quite well suited and know each other really well. So
Yeah.
I think once this album comes out, things start to get back to normal. We'll be ready to go out. And whatever happens, we'll be prepared and ready to actually go with whatever this thing goes, however it goes. If it does get bigger and we've got to play O2 and in Islington or something like that, we'll cope with it and play quite well and entertain give the people what they want, you know.
Yeah. I'll
The
travel
only
down
problem,
to that.
the only problem we've got now is what songs do you bloody play? Because people want to come and they want to hear Valhalla and they want to hear Spirit of the Deep and the old stuff, but we've got to put the new stuff in as well. So we've got so much material, it's really difficult to know. So we're going to
Yeah.
change the set a lot this next tour. We've been playing two from King, two from Sweeter Than Meat, you know, Valhalla, Evil Possessor, Spirit of the Deep, the same. We've played the same songs really over the last since King came out.
Yeah.
Played the same set, so we'll change the set up radically depending on how much time we've got, and then hopefully we can just make an impression on people, you know.
Yeah, man.
And
I mean,
and
just from what you've told me about Burning Black, I'll want to hear that now.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
So,
I know. I mean, we did a rough recording in our rehearsal studios, which is a studio.
yeah.
It's got a studio facilities, and we said to the dude, right, mic it all up, plug it in, let's go, 10 songs, bang. And they, you know, it sounds awesome, you know what I mean? I'm not allowed to let you hear it. You know, I'll just send you the MP3, and but you better wait for the finished product, man. It'll
Yeah.
be worth the wait. But no, the songs they're in the King vein where they're powerful and they rock. You know what I mean? There's lots of rhythm guitar, but there's a lot of disjointed sort of stuff going on, which is quite interesting. You know,
Cool.
they're
I'm
very good
really looking forward to
songwriters.
that, mate.
I mean, what I love about Keith and Rob's guitaring is that because they've played with each other so long, it's so harmonized with each other. They don't compete with each other. They, you know, they're playing. It's very well entwined and not competing with it. So when they play the guitar, and I don't understand guitar, China. That's why I play bass. So one note. You know what I mean? When they play these
Both, mate.
chords, yeah. The other guy played on a different section, and they're very well sort of in to know what they do and how they work together.
Yeah, which is
They
yeah,
yeah.
it's just great. It's like Thin Lizzy back in the day or Judas
Yes.
Priest, you know.
Yes.
It's
Yeah. They harmonize. The guitars are just in harmony with each other. But, you know, it doesn't come biting out. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
absolutely.
So, and my bass is just nice and straight and steady and full of a lot of power and a lot of it groove.
Yeah.
And that's what you want when you hear a good metal song, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Clive, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me
John, I
today.
hope that
It's
everything's
been
cool, eh?
really interesting.
I was just gonna say, what was the other thing I mentioned earlier? Yeah, no, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Just don't mention about whatever I mentioned. I'm only joking. No, everything's cool, eh? We're just on hold. Basically, we're on hold.
Yeah.
But you know, we're just gonna carry on. The guys are having a bit of a break, and you know, anytime I'll keep you up to date. Look at what's going on the website, and as soon as I get any news, I'll let you know.